What's up everyone, back for another vlog, and in today's vlog I will be showing you the 10 beers that I will be reviewing during the third annual 10 Days of Pumpkin here on the channel. So this is the third annual 10 Days of Pumpkin. I started the 10 Days of Pumpkin back in 2018, and the reason for it was I wanted to do some kind of theme around pumpkin beers in the month of October, and I just decided that I would review pumpkin beers for 10 straight days, the 9 days leading up to Halloween and on Halloween. Why did I pick 10 days? I have no idea. I could have picked 7 days, a week. I could have picked any amount of days, 5 days, but I went with 10. Now, a lot of people will say 10 days of pumpkin beers in a row is maybe too much. Maybe, maybe it is. But one thing I can tell you is that I've been drinking pumpkin beers for a long time, and in fact, I think it was back in 2012. I tried to not review because I didn't review back then, but I tried to drink as many pumpkin beers in the month of October that I could. I think I got to 20 plus. And let me tell you, there are a lot of great pumpkin beers and there are a lot of not so great pumpkin beers. So I always enjoy trying different pumpkin beers. And, now having a YouTube channel over the past year and a half, I'm revisiting a lot of these that I haven't, reviewed on the channel, but I've had before, and it's just a lot of fun. Now, when it comes to pumpkin beers, I'll drink them whenever. As I've said multiple times on my channel, I am not a seasonal drinker. Now, my preference is to drink pumpkin beers, when fall hits, basically late September into October, November. But I drink the vast majority of them in October. I'll usually have some around Thanksgiving and maybe a couple in September because I'll be in the mood. For the most part, I drink, pumpkin beers in October, and I just thought this was a good idea back in 2018. This is the third annual 10 Days of Pumpkin, and I must say that the feedback over the past couple of years has been fantastic. I've had numerous people send me messages that, I can't wait for 10 Days of Pumpkin this year. I love pumpkin beers. I love seeing what you're drinking, and some people out there actually pick up these beers and drink along with my review. So quite a few of these, a lot of you out there will be able to get. So if you want to do that this year, that would be awesome. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these beers, even if you don't drink them again this year. And yeah, so these are the 10 I picked up. So like I said, the 9 days leading up to Halloween and a Halloween, each day there will be one pumpkin review on the channel. And typically during 10 Days of Pumpkin, I post 2 reviews a day, 1 pumpkin beer and then 1 non-pumpkin beer. You can expect the same this year. So without any further ado, let's quickly run down the beers that I have for this year. So as you can see, I have 3 different Elysian Brewing Company beers, and that's because I picked up the Elysian pumpkin pack. It's a mixed 12-pack. You get 4 different pumpkin beers, 3 of each, and the price point is fantastic, $19.99 for a 12-pack in my area, so less than $2 a bottle. And I've bought this pumpkin pack before. Now, when I bought it the first time, they did not have this beer. They actually had I think it was a ginger pumpkin pilsner. I did not like that beer. It was actually one of the few Elysian pumpkin beers that I did not care for. It was actually quite bad, kind of soapy, and just wasn't a fan of it. But they released this one, which is their Punchino, I think back in like 2013, 14. And when it showed up here, I tried it. It was the first ever coffee pumpkin beer I had, and it was fantastic. So I will be revisiting this one this year, and I'm super pumped because I haven't had it in about 5 years. I think it was 2015, 16, somewhere around there last time I had it. I haven't been able to find it by itself over the past couple of years, so the fact that it's in the pumpkin pack and I get the chance to review it, I am pumped up. So this one is brewed with coffee and a couple other spices, and I just remember loving it, so I cannot wait to get into that one. The next one, that will be day 1. Day 2 of the 10 Days of Pumpkin, we're going to have from the Fatheads Brewery, their Spooky Tooth. So this is an Imperial Pumpkin Ale, and full disclosure, I have had this one once before. I wasn't a huge fan. I think I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5 on Untappd, and for a big Imperial Pumpkin Ale, it just wasn't boisterous. It wasn't bold. It wasn't in my face. But I will say this. I've went to the Fatheads Brewery numerous times, and the one time I went there, it was around, it was pretty sure it was in October, and they had a bourbon barrel-aged version of this and a red wine barrel-aged version. And you'll probably say to yourself, a red wine barrel-aged version? Bourbon was probably way better. It wasn't. The bourbon was really good, but the red wine barrel-aged Imperial or Spooky Tooth, one of the best pumpkin beers I've ever had. Not lying. It's one of the best I've ever had. And I wish they would put it in cans or bottles or just release it. I don't even know if they brew it at the brewery anymore. I have no idea. But I'll tell you that it was absolutely fantastic. So this isn't the one that I'll be reviewing. It'll be the regular Spooky Tooth, but I'm pumped to give this one a go just to see. It's been about 5 years since I've had this. See, my palate has changed. See if I enjoy this one. I hope so. Day 3 will feature a new release from Harpoon, and it is their Dunkin Pumpkin. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this one. Maybe you've already had it. They released this one in conjunction with Duncan again. Now, they've been doing the collabs with Duncan. Last year, they did the Dunkin Coffee Porter, which I've reviewed on the channel. Really tasty. It actually surprised me. It was really good. And then I did their Dunkin Summer Dunkin Coffee IPA. I wasn't a huge fan of that. Some people posted in the comments of that one that they enjoyed it. It just wasn't for me, even though I like coffee IPA. That one just didn't work for me. Now this year, they have actually released an entire 12-pack of different beers in collab with Dunkin. They released this one, the aforementioned Dunkin Coffee Porter, I believe it was a Jelly Donut IPA and a Boston Cream Stout. Now, I picked up the 12-pack, and I will be reviewing the Jelly Donut IPA and the Boston Cream Stout after the 10 Days of Pumpkin are over. I will not really re-review the Dunkin Coffee Porter because I already reviewed it last year. Same beer, just it's in a can this time. But I'm really pumped for this one. Dunkin Pumpkin, it just sounds pretty good. Another coffee pumpkin beer, and that you'll see that's kind of the theme with these. A couple more over here, but yeah, coffee and pumpkin go together. Apparently, a lot of people like their pumpkin lattes and whatnot. So I get it. Really excited about that one. Next, Smutty Nose Pumpkin Ale. Now, Smutty Nose is a brewery that I used to love many years ago when I first got into craft beer. And this beer right here was one of the first pumpkin ales I ever had. And I used to love the old bottle. It was just like an old school kind of label. Just you could tell it was an older school label and an older school beer. And this is the first time I've ever seen it in a can. So I had to grab it and I'm like, I want to revisit it. I think the last time I had a Smutty Nose Pumpkin Ale was like 2012, 13. It's been a long time. So I can't wait to see what that one has going for it. Now the next one kind of hits me in the feels along with this one over here. And it is from FX Matt Brewing, aka the Saranac Brewing Company, and it's their pumpkin ale. Yeah, this is one of, if not the first, one of the first pumpkin ales I've ever had. I think Buffalo Bill's pumpkin ale is the first one I ever had, and I think this might be the second. Now, when it comes to Saranac and Sam Adams, they helped me get into craft beer. Back when I got into craft beer back in late 2009, in my area, there was only 1 or 2 stores that sold individual bottles. Everything you had to buy was 4-packs, 6-packs, 12-packs. So Saranac and Sam Adams allowed me to try different styles without breaking the bank. Most of their mix packs are anywhere between $14 to $16, and the seasonal releases of where it was at for me. I could try the pumpkin ales and the winter warmers and things like that at a reasonable price. So the pumpkin ale is one of the first ones I ever bought. And well, I guess it was their Beers of Fallen mix pack. And I remember enjoying it, but it's been a long time. I honestly have no idea the last time I had a Saranac pumpkin ale, but I would say it's at least 7 or 8 years ago. So I'm really excited to give this one a go and see how it is nowadays. Next, from Elysian, the second beer out of the pumpkin pack I'll be reviewing, it's their Darker the Moon. So this is a pumpkin stout, and the only pumpkin stout that I'll be reviewing this year. This is the second pumpkin stout I've ever had. The first one was Warlock from Southern Tier, which I've already reviewed last year, 10 Days of Pumpkin. And I remember this one being very well balanced. It wasn't too spice forward, had a good, kind of stout base to it. I just really enjoyed it, and I remember it being balanced and tasty, so hopefully that is the case. Next is the only beer I'm doing for West New York Wednesday, because there's only one Wednesday this year on the 10 Days of Pumpkin. Last year, I believe there was 2. This year, just 1, and it is from the Ellicottville Brewing Company, and it is their Pumpkinville Latte Nitro. So they do a regular version of this, and they've released it over the last couple years. I actually had it at a beer festival, which sounds crazy to say now here in 2020, but last year at a beer festival, I had it on tap, and I thought it was pretty good. But then I saw they released the Nitro version this year, and I'm like, you know what, sign me up. We'll do a Nitro beer. So the Nitro version of the Pumpkinville Latte for West New York Wednesday. We're really pumped to see what that one's all about. The next is Sam Adams, and it is their Jacko. So the Boston Beer Company, aka Samuel Adams, they've been releasing a lot of pumpkin beers seemingly over like the past 7-8 years. I think the first pumpkin beer I ever had from them was their Fat Jack. That was an Imperial Pumpkin Ale. Then after that, they released their Sam Adams Pumpkin Harvest Ale, I believe it was. And then after that, the 20 pounds of pumpkin. I enjoyed Fat Jack over all of them. I like Imperial Pumpkin Ales, and I thought it was really well done. The 2 after that, the Harvest Ale and the 20 pounds of pumpkin, they were all right, but whatever. This one, though, another new release from them. This is like the 4th pumpkin ale that I can remember from them over the last 8 years. I don't know what's going on, if this is just the same recipe, just renamed. I have no idea, but we're going to give it a go, and hopefully it's quite delicious. Like I said, along with Saranac, Sam Adams helped me get into craft beer, so when it comes to their pumpkin ales, I'll give them a try. Next, probably the weirdest, but the most intriguing to me, is from Central Waters Brewing Company, and it is their Wendy's. So they're calling this one a Coffee Pumpkin Milkshake IPA. So we got an IPA. It's basically a base milkshake IPA, and then they're throwing pumpkin and probably spices. It says on there, coffee, the whole nine. I think they actually have a list of ingredients on the side, so when I do the review, I'll run them down. But yeah, I don't know. Will this work? Who knows? Another coffee pumpkin beer, but this one's a milkshake IPA. Sounds like it has the potential to be absolutely fantastic or absolutely gross. And it's funny, this is the first Central Waters beer that I'm reviewing on my channel, and you would think I would have already reviewed one of their 70,000 barrel-aged beers, but no. I think we're going to do a Central Waters maybe theme week at some point in the near future because I have quite a few in the cellar. But yeah, I don't know. We're going to try that one out and see how it goes. Last but not least, we're going to end it on Halloween with the last Elysian beer from the pumpkin pack, and it is the Great Pumpkin. This is their Imperial Pumpkin Ale, and I remember this one being my second favorite after Punchino in the pumpkin pack. Night Owl is also in the pumpkin pack, but I reviewed that one 2 years ago by itself, so I'm not re-reviewing it. Night Owl to me is one of the best, probably top 3 for me, just straight pumpkin ales. You know, you're talking about pumpkin and spices, no coffee, no IPA, no stout, just a regular pumpkin ale. I love that beer, but I think this one is just as good, if not better for me. We'll see if that's the case. So we're going to start it with Elysian, end it with Elysian, have one in the middle, and then, you know, have some other goodies in between. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped up about this year's 10 Days of Pumpkin because I think a lot of these beers you guys can get, as I said. The Elysian Pumpkin Pack should be available in a lot of different places because Elysian's owned, I believe, by Budweiser, so you should see a lot of their stuff. Sam Adams, people should see. If you're in the Northeast, you should be able to get your hands on Harpoon, Smutty Nose, Saranac, Ellicottville if you're in the Western New York area. The only two that might be kind of tough because they don't get huge distro is Fatheads and Central Waters, although Central Waters is getting a lot of distro lately. So you might be able to see the Central Waters one. It's getting into a bunch of different states. Fatheads will probably be the toughest of the bunch outside of Ellicottville. But like I said, a lot of beers here. I think I'm going to have a blast this year. I think these are going to be pretty good. And I can't wait to retry some of these from yesteryear, like the Smutty Nose and the Saranac. That just sounds like it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to dive into those and see how my palate's changed over the last, 5 to 7 years. But anyway, like I said, if you can pick any of these up, do so. If you want to drink along with my reviews or post what you think after I post the reviews, I'd really appreciate it. I'd like to hear your guys' feedback because as fun as this all is and reviewing stuff, I'd love to hear everybody's opinion out there because we all have different palates and tastes and whatnot, and that's what kind of makes this fun. So I appreciate everybody stopping by for another vlog here on the Beer PaTroll. Day 1 starts on Thursday, and obviously day 10 will end on Halloween. So this upcoming Thursday, you will see the first review. And like I said, 1 review each day of pumpkin beers, and you should see another review of non-pumpkin beers each day. I usually post 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. So if pumpkin beers aren't your jam over the next 10 days, be on the lookout for other beer reviews, I guess. Anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by for another vlog. Like I said, I cannot wait to dive into these. And until then, cheers.